Hello, my friends, hello, and welcome once again to the stately Von Manor, one of the dark halls of stately Von Manor, where I have a few of my comic books. Some of you have expressed an interest in a comic book tour, so that's what we're going to do today. I'm not going to show you all my comics because that would take way too long. So I'm just going to show you this particular bookcase. This is the epic bookcase in the hall, and then off the parlor over there, I have another bookcase a small bookcase that has some other really cool comics on it. So I'm just going to show you my favorite stuff today. So let's get started. Okay, here I am at the top of the bookcase. Hopefully I will not fall down and hurt myself. What do we have here? I'm tottering on top of a little step stool to reach this high. These are just random Superman comics. Got Superman and Brainiac hanging out there. Superman and Brainiac. I love Brainiac. He's so awesome. He's such a great villain. We've got the Death of Superman there. We've got some random 80s Superman comics. We've got some new 52 stuff that was crap. We've got some of the new Bendis stuff down here. Great artwork, stupid stories. I imagine these will be all put in omnibuses eventually. I imagine. And then we've got the greatest Superman stories of all time. This book I got in '87, and it is the one that introduced me to a lot of the Silver Age stuff, which is some of the best Superman stuff ever. These are some newer versions of that, these two books. And then just some random 2000 era Superman. All-Star Superman, which was pretty good, even though the incomprehensible Grant Morrison did the story. This is actually a really good set of stories. The All-Star Superman comes in 2 volumes here. There is a 1-volume edition. More random Superman. We got Superman and Batman here. That was a great series. We've got up here one of the greatest Superman stories ever told. This is Superman and Muhammad Ali. This originally came out in an oversized comic in the 70s, and I read that sucker to death. I read it over and over again. I loved it, and it's one of the comics that made me love Superman. So that was really cool that they reprinted that. That's a great comic. These are not Superman. These are all Superman. This is not Superman. This is Tarzan. Dark Horse did a run on Tarzan that was really good. That's this. There's a random Star Trek comic that I did a video on a couple months ago for Book Track. These are all Hellboy here. The complete Hellboy saga in paperback here. A couple of them are a little beat up. Unfortunately, with Dark Horse comics, for some reason, the paperbacks are strangely fragile and get kind of beat up easily. They bend and tear very easily. I'm not sure why that is, but I should get the hardcover version of these eventually because I love Hellboy, one of my favorite characters. More Tarzan. This is the Joe Kubert Tarzan, which is a masterpiece, just wonderful. Then we've got Jesse Marsh's John Carter. I need to get Jesse Marsh's Tarzan. He did a lot of Tarzan. This right here is the Marvel series of John Carter of Mars comics that Marvel did in the 70s, but this is a black and white edition printed by Dark Horse when Dark Horse had the rights to the comic. It's unfortunate it's not better. They could have done a much nicer edition, but I'm happy to have it. I do not have the omnibus version of this that Marvel put out. Okay, I'm going to stop this and restart so I don't fall off my step stool. Okay, I am down safely. So let's see what else I've got. This is the second shelf down. This one right here is really interesting. This is Superman, the newspaper strips, the Sunday classics. From 1939 to 43. That's a very awkwardly sized book, so I've kind of got it stuffed right there. Over here, I've got the dailies. This is important because this is the first time that Superman's full origin was told. it was told in the newspaper strips for the first time, not in the comic. So over here, I've got random omnibuses. This shelf is too short to stand them up, so I've just got them lying on top of each other. There's New 52 Swamp Thing, which is up there because I talked about it recently. It shouldn't really be here, but you'll notice that my comic books are a mess. They're just not organized well at all, which is why I've got Golden Age Marvel Comics here. These are great comics, though. You've got a lot of Submariner and Human Torch comic books from the Golden Age. Underneath that, we've got Legion of Superheroes, which I did a video on not too long ago. Then over here, we've got the Moon Knight Omnibus. I love Moon Knight. Moon Knight is one of my favorite characters from Marvel. Don't ask me why. I have no explanation. But that is the first Moon Knight omnibus. There's a second one coming out, which I pre-ordered. I'm not sure when it's going to come out. But I look forward to it. This is Doctor Strange. This is the original Stan Lee, Steve Ditko Doctor Strange. That entire run is there. This is the Silver Surfer Omnibus Volume 1, which is the whole run of the Stan Lee, John Buscema, Silver Surfer, the good one. There is some Jack Kirby in here at the end of the run. Here's the first Daredevil Omnibus, which has the complete... the contents of the first two epic collections of Daredevil are in that omnibus. And we'll be getting to my epics in just a second. There's the first Captain America omnibus right there. That's pretty cool. So over here, randomly, I've got this up here. This is Batwoman by Greg Rucka and J.H. Williams. This is a great, great comic. It was turned into a really terrible, terrible television show. Don't watch that show. It sucks, but the comic was really good. I've got a giant Man-Thing up here. This is where I keep my giant Man-Thing, right here on the shelf. On top of Star Wars for some reason. I'm not really sure why that is. But this is basically some horror stuff other than Star Wars by Jason Aaron. I don't know why that's there, but it's there. Then I've got Werewolf by Night. I love Werewolf by Night. It was one of my favorite comics when I was a kid, particularly the comics that have artwork by Mike Ploog. So this was a great comic book. I mean, it turned into a not-so-great comic book, but originally, when it first came out, it was pretty fun. Tomb of Dracula was, of course, better. Tomb of Dracula is the greatest horror comic book that Marvel ever produced. I keep hoping that they will come out with a reprint of the second and third Tomb of Dracula omnibuses, but so far they have not. I guess I'll keep waiting. Over here, I've got Saga up there hiding. This is the entire run of Saga so far. This is the first Saga compendium. I really like that. Saga by Brian K. Vaughan, great name. Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Really good comic. Then I've got the two Marvel horror omnibuses. These are fantastic. They contain all of the Marvel horror comic books that were not Frankenstein or Dracula or the werewolf. But everything else pretty much is in here in these two omnibus volumes. They're fantastic. Just great stuff. Then, of course, Jack Kirby's Monsterbus in 2 volumes. All the Jack Kirby monster comics, which for some reason Steve Donahue doesn't like because he's, kind of crazy when it comes to that. But they're fantastic. Trust me. These 2 Monsterbuses, fantastic. I like that they even say Monsterbus there instead of Omnibus. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's go down a shelf. Randomly, I've got some random stuff over here. This is S.H.I.E.L.D. Got S.H.I.E.L.D. by Lee and Kirby right there. Then I've got S.H.I.E.L.D. by Steranko. I've got this weird comic, Skull the Slayer. I've got the complete Skull the Slayer saga, which, doesn't take up much room. Then I've got a Monster of Frankenstein. This was a comic book, again, that I liked a whole lot. The first few issues were really good. Eventually, it got stupid, which, the horror comics, with the exception of Tomb of Dracula, tended to get really stupid. Randomly, I've got Death in the Family here. I don't know why. It's just there. Then I've got some Golden Age Superman in the archive editions. This is how I originally read a lot of these Golden Age stories were in these archive editions. I've now got the omnibus volumes that have all of those, so I don't really need them anymore because I just had them when I was young and loved them. More omnibus volumes here. Randomly, I've just got this Greatest Batman Stories Ever Told, Volume 2. This one I found it. Where did I find this? Was it a thrift store or something? But this came out when that terrible Batman Forever, that movie came out. That movie sucked. But the comics are pretty cool. This is Marvel Masterworks of Captain America, which again I don't need because I've got those stories in 2 other places. Defenders Omnibus Volume 1. They do not have epic collections of these stories yet. I'm not sure why. My favorite comic book of all time from Marvel is the Fantastic Four, so I have the first 2 omnibuses of those. I don't know why I've got this here. Again, it's kind of random. This is the Daredevil by Mark Waid. Not the best run on Daredevil, but not the worst. It was entertaining, at least. These are really cool. These are the Masters of Suspense volumes by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. All of Steve Ditko's old suspensey stories are right there. Then we're going to move on to the epic collections, of which I've got quite a few. I don't have the first 3 Fantastic Four epic collections because all those stories are in there. But I have every other Fantastic Four epic collection. Now you'll notice that with the epic collections that there are weird things, like the lines don't line up when you have them all together like this. The reason is because Marvel uses a bunch of different printers to print these books. And so they're all a little different. Sometimes you get a really sucky printer, like the printer who did this volume. You'll notice it doesn't even say Epic Collection on it, like every other Epic Collection, because this printer was so bad. So bad. And so there's weird stuff like that when you use a bunch of different printers. Or you get this, where you have like this stupid line down the side because it wasn't cut properly. And that fits because this is a pretty terrible Epic Collection, actually. Fantastic Four, The More Things Change. A particularly dumb time of Fantastic Four. But I have all of Fantastic Four omnibuses except for the first 3. So I have all of the Fantastic Four stories that I could get from the olden days. These are not printed in order. There are gaps in the stories. I think they are in order all the way up to Battle of the Behemoths here. So all the Fantastic Four, I put them first because they're my favorite, and they were the beginning of the Marvel Age of Comics. Amazing Spider-Man. I have every single epic collection so far of the Amazing Spider-Man. Just, what can you say? It's Spider-Man, and these are awesome, awesome stories. This is the beginning with Steve Ditko. Yeah, but they've got a lot of Spider-Man to come. I think they've printed about half the run of Spider-Man that they're going to do in epic collections so far. We'll see. I've got a random Venom here just because I don't need it because all of these are just Spider-Man stories that are going to be reprinted in these. I don't know. Then I've got Captain America. Now we're starting on the Avengers. I'll start off with the Avengers individually. So I've got Captain America here, which goes down to here. More Captain America. I have all of the Captain America epic collections. Then we go to Iron Man. I have all the Iron Man epic collections. Then we go to... See, Ant-Man and Giant Man, they just have one lonely epic collection here. Poor Ant-Man. Poor Giant Man. Then I've got all the Hulk. The Hulk is one of my favorite comics. Another comic that Steve Donahue inexplicably doesn't like. Then we've got Thor over here. I'm missing one Thor epic. They are reprinting it. I've had it on order since they announced that they were reprinting it. I don't know when it's coming out. But once I get that, I think I'll have all of the Thor epics. There's the Black Panther here. There have been 3 epics so far. Then we're going to the Avengers proper. I think I've got all of the Avengers epic collections. And we're going to go down here. And there's more Avengers. And then we've got the substandard Avengers, or otherwise known as the West Coast Avengers. Daredevil, I believe I've got all the Daredevil except for the first 2, and the only reason I don't have those is because I have that omnibus up there that have all the Daredevil. I only have one Lonely Wolverine Epic Collection. Wolverine Volume 2 is like $100 because, I didn't get it when it first came out. I don't know, maybe they'll reprint it. So I will get more Wolverine eventually, but right now, for some reason, I've only got one, and he's awesome, so that's strange. Killraven is just hanging out here. I'm not sure why he's hanging out by himself. I have all the Doctor Strange, excuse me, I'm shuffling along, except for the first one, because I have that in omnibus form. I've got a random Captain America comic up here for some reason. This is Serve and Protect. I have some randomness on these bookshelves, and then this Epic Collection was cut. It's damaged, and so I should replace that, although Afterlife is not the best set of stories, so I haven't so far. Got Master of Kung Fu. I don't know why Marvel hasn't done more Punisher Epic Collections. The Punisher's cool, so they should do more Punisher. They've only got, as far as I'm aware, these 5. I'll double check, but I think that's all of them so far. Miss Marvel, which came out when Captain Marvel, the movie, came out. I only have a couple Defenders epics. Iron Fist, Luke Cage. I have the first Power Man and Iron Fist epic collection. I don't have any of the others yet. Namor the Submariner. This is a disappointment because it's mostly just comics from Fantastic Four. I was kind of hoping that it would have more comics from the Strange Tales run, but there were only a few in there. Oh well, maybe later. I don't have all of the Silver Surfer epics. I only have 4 of them. I have these 2 Moon Knight epics, which will be replaced by the second Moon Knight omnibus when that comes out, and then I'll probably sell these or give these away. I got Sergeant Fury here. Sergeant Fury. That was a fun run. And we've got Marvel 2-in-1 with The Thing, The Adventures of the Thing. Got a couple Black Widow omnibuses, which came out because the movie was coming out. Then we're going to move into X-Men territory. We've got Excalibur here. I've got 4 volumes of Excalibur. I think there might be more than that now. I only have a couple New Mutants for some reason. I only have 1 X-Force, only have 1 X-Factor. I do not have all X-Men. I've got the first 3 X-Men here, and then down here I have more X-Men, but I'm missing a few. I'm missing a few X-Men. Moving on to Conan. Now these are the these were not originally published by Marvel, these Conan stories. These were the Dark Horse issues. For a while, Dark Horse had the rights to do Conan. So there's that. So I think I have all of them that have been printed so far. I think they just go up to this one, The Song of Belief, which was not very good. This was a great run right up until right around here. Then I've got some Star Wars. There's a ton of Star Wars epics. I don't have them. I have the original Marvel years right here. I have all of those. I've got the newspaper strips. I've got these random ones. This is the Rebellion, which I've got 3 epics of. But there's a lot of Star Wars epics, and I just don't have them. I randomly have this Contest of Champions story here, Marvel Superhero Contest of Champions. I also randomly up here have 0 Hour, which was one of DC Comics' many events where they had to reset their continuity, which they keep screwing up even now. So those are all of the epics so far. They will expand because I keep getting more and more of those every month. It seems like they come in. Then I've got John Byrne's run on Superman, which it is both bad and good in different ways. There are good things about it. There are bad things about this run. The writing is not particularly great. The artwork tends to be really good. These do have the Adventures of Superman comics that came out at the same time John Byrne's did, which are better than John Byrne's. I have this series of anniversary hardcovers of the superheroes, but I noticed when I was going through these comics before this video that I do not have the Justice League. I've got all these individual superheroes, but I don't have the Justice League. But these are great comics because these are just, they're kind of best of hardcover collections where you just get a sampling of stories from different eras. Then I have this poor orphaned Conan omnibus. You'll see in a few minutes from the other shelf where I have all my other Conan omnibus volumes. This one is the Dark Horse Conan, and it's kind of sitting here by itself because I didn't have room on the other shelf for it. So I don't know. It'll get a better home someday. Then I have Silver Age Green Lantern. Then I have, and this is the whole of the Silver Age Green Lantern here. Then it moves on to Green Lantern Green Arrow. Randomly, I've got Marvel Classics comics because I liked those when I was a kid. Then I have Choke Gasp, the best of EC Comics, a bunch of EC Comics stories. EC Comics, they made the best comics ever. I've got the New 52 Wonder Woman, I talked about that. These are some 80-year retrospective volumes. This is of Superman. I think there's a Green Lantern one out now. This is Superman, Batman, and the Flash. I have to find that Green Lantern volume one of these days. Down here towards the ground, I've got Creepy Archives. That was a good that's a good volume. I got to get more of those. Then I've got these New 52 comics that I just talked about recently. I've got The Last Man, Why the Last Man, which they made a really bad TV show that they just canceled, but the comic book was really good. Then I've got House of Mystery, House of Secrets. These omnibuses point out one of the reasons DC Comics the reprint program is so lame. Now, the first volume came out in this format, or this kind of cover. Then they came out with the second volume and completely changed what the cover looks like to this really stupid floating heads type of thing. And so, of course, it doesn't look right on the shelf. It pissed off everybody who collects this sort of thing. It's really annoying. I also have this random hardcover of Superman for some reason. I got Adam Strange, which I should be talking about at some point today, I'm hoping. Golden Age Captain America, that's awesome. Now, these are awesome. These are the Planet of the Apes hardcovers from Boom that reprints all of the Planet of the Apes stories that Marvel Comics printed in its fantastic black and white comic book, Planet of the Apes. They had a great black and white magazine that they published in the 70s. It was so great, their Planet of the Apes. So I've got all 4 volumes of that reprint all of those stories. Then I've got Morbius, the worst dressed vampire in the world. I have that omnibus. Randomly, I have Detroit Justice League over here. It's not with the other Justice League. It doesn't deserve to be. Then I've got Adventure into Fear. I've got... They don't have many Superman omnibuses, but this is a good one. This is Superman the Exile, which is some 80s stories. This is Grant Morrison's terrible New 52 stories. They still don't have Superman the Silver Age in omnibus form yet. So I only have these black and white Showcase Presents volumes because they're stupidly, DC's so dumb. They should have presented the Silver Age Superman in better comics instead of just leaving it in black and white only. DC, you suck. Then I've got Birthright randomly, and I've got the Superman Rebirth comics in this omnibus here. So that's this bookcase. Man, that took 20 minutes. Hopefully the next bookcase won't take that long. Okay, more comic books here. I'm at the bookcase by the parlor. So this is all the comic books inspired by Robert E. Howard. So we've got Kull, Conan, and Solomon Kane up there. They all fit, mostly they all fit on this shelf. I've got Kull, of course. Kull predated Conan, so he's there in the front. Great series of comics about Kull. This is all the black and white and the color stuff that Marvel did on Kull. You get some great comics. There's a lot of great Marie Severn artwork in some of the Kull. I love her. And then you've got all of these hardcovers which reprint the original run of all the Conan the Barbarian comics and the Savage Sword of Conan. This is all the stuff that's been printed to date. So far, at the time of filming this, there are 6 omnibus volumes of Conan the Barbarian, and there are 5 omnibus volumes of the Savage Sword of Conan, which is the black and white version of Conan. At the end there, we've got some Dark Horse stuff. King Conan is at the end there from Dark Horse, which I don't have in any other format, so that's good to have. Hiding up here is Solomon Kane, another great Robert E. Howard creation. And look at that great cover. That's awesome. So what else do we have up here? We have, this is the second shelf. This is Swamp Thing. This is the Absolute Edition, so they're very tall, so I couldn't fit them on the shelf unless they're on their side there. But underneath them is the Golden Age of Superman Omnibus volumes. Those are fantastic. Got 6 volumes of those. Got the Justice League. That is the complete set so far of the Silver and Bronze Age of the Justice League. The first volume was reprinted so that the cover matched up, but, you know, I'm not going to buy a new edition just for the cover. Then we've got Justice League International at the end. And at the end there, I've got a Wonder Woman Rebirth volume just because it fits. So at the last little shelf that we're going to talk about, I've got Jonah Hex, the greatest Western comic book of all time. The 1970s and 80s, early 80s version of Swamp Thing, the Bronze Age Omnibus. That's the stuff that came out right before this stuff by Alan Moore. Hiding up here, I've got the last artwork that Bernie Wrightson ever did, which was Frankenstein Alive Alive. This is a really nice little comic. The last work of Bernie Wrightson, so that's there. I've got the Silver Age Flash, the 3 volumes of the Silver Age Flash. Hopefully they'll do more Flash omnibuses after that. I would like some Bronze Age Flash. Then we've got the Geoff Johns version of the Flash, a couple omnibus volumes. We have the New 52, the Flash, Francis Manapul and Brian Buccellato, which I liked quite a bit. Then we've got Crisis on Infinite Earths hanging out there. Then we have the Doom Patrol, which is a comic I like an awful lot. It's a really weird comic. It's always been weird. Every version of it has been strange. We've got the Silver Age, which is the stuff I like the most. Bronze Age, which is, you know, it's pretty fun. It's not the same as the Silver Age, though. Then we've got the inexplicable Grant Morrison doing his best work by far on the Doom Patrol. I really liked that run, actually. It's a weird comic, so it's good to have a weird guy do it. John Byrne did that little version of Doom Patrol at the end there. That was just okay. It wasn't bad. It was okay. So yeah, that is the remainder. This is probably, out of everything I own, I think I love this set the most. I mean, I can't believe I even own this. So yeah, my comic book tour. You know, I was going to put this on Wednesday. I think I'm just going to put it up right now. And then I'll just have my regular Wednesday comic book thing. So that's what I'll do. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me here at the stately Vaughn Manor.